That takes us to agenda item 7, discuss and act on the sheriff's remodel project and all related issues. Commissioner Stacy.
Yeah, with this, we're going to bring Niko up to give us an update.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge New.
And thank you, Niko, for making sure we get this emailed out the day before. So
Yeah,
he's been
Yes.
keeping a good
Thank
meter
you.
on that. So
Thank you.
very helpful.
No problem at all. So the Rockwall Sheriff Office is progressing very well. The good news is we're under budget. No major budget updates this time around, other than we'll be discussing 3 different PCOs a little later on. We are currently working on an updated schedule informed by furniture dates. We have not placed the furniture order yet. So as soon as I know those dates for the first and second order, I'll report on the schedule to you guys.
And just in layman's terms, what we're trying to do is order enough furniture to move the people into the locations of phase 1 so that we know how to start phase 2. And so it's hard for us to make that timing when we, as Commissioner Galana has seen, furniture is unpredictable. So until we know that the order has been placed and we have the lead times and we know when it is, it's going to be hard for us to say this is when it's going to happen. Because if we don't move people in to those offices, we cannot start phase 2 because we have to keep the office operational. So.
Yep. Exactly. And as far as procurement updates, I mentioned, the furniture hasn't been ordered yet. We're hoping to have that ordered in the next 2 weeks, definitely. Electrical gears have been ordered, lighting fixtures ordered, storefronts ordered, and pass-through windows ordered. I've confirmed all of those, which are long lead items. And they all, I think the latest arrival date is late March, early April. So all that's tracking with the schedule, so long as we can, get the furniture order placed. Quality control, really no update there. We're just continuing to track any issues with the products on site with the commissioner and Barry and the whole projects team. Construction activities, the last few weeks they've been working on tape, bed, and paint, which is just drywall finish and painting, final coats of painting. They've done FRP, which is the resilient surface that is installed in any water-prone areas like mop sinks and bathrooms. You see it a lot. It's just a plastic wall covering. They did a sidewalk pour. They've started doing the wall and floor tiles in the restrooms and locker rooms. So that's kind of exciting to see some of those come along, as well as the acoustical ceilings they continue to work on. The next few weeks will be continuing wall finishes. A lot of the doors are hung, so they'll start staining the doors, finishing the wall and floor, tiling with grout, and setting plumbing fixtures. That's all I have for my update.
Discuss and act on approving prime contract change order number 12, 14, and 15 to the agreement with SCI Construction for the Rockwall County Sheriff Office renovation project and all related issues. Commissioner Stacy.
So I'm going to have Niko answer all the questions. I'm going to give y'all a brief editorial of what these 3 changes are. PCO 12 is $53,895. That is coming out of contingency for the 911 dispatch. We have an allowance set aside for this, but we went ahead and took it out of contingency so we can hold the owner's allowance. So we knew the work was coming, but that's where we're going to account for it, is in the construction contingency. PCO 14 is a fire alarm. We had to change a lot, so we can get into the specifics in that, but we're taking that money out of hardware allowances and permitting, so it's not coming out of contingencies. And then PCO 15 is some door stuff. Like I said, Niko answers all the hard questions. And it's going to be $20,000 out of hardware. So of these 3, There's about 54,000 coming out of the construction contingency. Everything else is moving allowances around. And we had money set aside for the 911 work, but we just, since it feels like every time we get into something, we're finding something, we decided let's just take that out of contingency, and then we would just keep our owner's allowance how it is. It was just, and in the end, we can move the owner's allowance over into the contingency. So this was just the easiest way to just work through the process. So that's all the decisions were made and how we line this up, and then y'all can ask Niko any question you need.
Well, I don't know what's defined as an easy question, but that was the question I had, Commissioner, was how are we doing on our contingency here? Because it kind of sticks in my mind that when we approved the final budget on this, we had a rather tighter contingency than we might have in other times, and just wondered if we're going to be able to stay within that number and where we're at on it.
That's kind of a tough question, especially with the furniture and schedule delays that we're having currently, because there will be another change order for extended general conditions. That hasn't been fully identified yet, but it's probably going to be somewhat substantial. But that being said, what we're looking at right now, contingency is still pretty healthy. And as Commissioner Stacy mentioned, we have allowances outside of the CMAR, which will allow us to replenish the contingency that's in the project to hopefully back to a healthy state after.
Okay.
This
Well,
process.
and I know that these things are hard to predict, especially on remodels, because as you said, when you open one thing, you find another thing.
Right.
But do you expect at this point that we will be able to stay within our original budget?
Yes.
Including contingencies?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, we've opened up 80% of the project. And so that is giving us a lot more certainty of, okay, we know what we're up against. And then once we kind of get through the opening of phase 2, phase 3 is just dispatch. And we have gone through dispatch at length. So we kind of understand what's going on in that one room. And the only reason there is 3 phases is because we had to figure out how to keep dispatch completely operational. And the easiest way to do that is to treat them on their own. So they didn't get lost in the mix. So with 80% of it kind of being opened, and not to mention, this is most of the old jail, which is where most of our uncertainty was.
Okay, thank you.
Another part of that change order with the dispatch coming out of the CMAR is we wanted the CMAR to be responsible for that critical activity, to take any liability off of the owner's side for the affecting the project. So.
And my question is kind of along the same lines as Commissioner Lecty's. Is it possible, and I'm going to point this to our auditor for just a quick question. Is it possible for us to have a report that we look at over, that shows us a percent of where we are in using the contingency money and what percent we had planned for, so we can kind of keep a good eye on if we start seeing it's itching up, then we can either discuss it and look at what
we give you the actual numbers on court, like what's actually happening, but we don't have the percentage. So we can look at adding kind of percentage type stuff to that.
Yeah, we can look at that.
I think that's good just from a transparency standpoint for me anyway.
So you want a percentage of the contingency that's
and like kind of percentage of work. She wants to know, like, if we're 60% done, are we 80% out of the contingency, and then what would be the delta? What would be the reason for the delta?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I will work with Niko on that before the next court.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Niko? All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. We approve.
I did want to add on PCO 14. That is also, it's not just the fire alarm scope. It is also identifying the door hardware. When we started the project, we didn't know exactly what the door hardware was going to be. We've now determined exactly what that is. I believe it was around $80K, which was significantly under our allowance, which is good. And so that PCO also is identifying that scope of work.
All right, I'm going to make a motion. We approve prime contract change order 12, 14, and 15 to the agreement with SCI Construction for the Rockwall County Sheriff Office renovation project.
Second.
Got my motion, got a second by Commissioner Gallant. Are there any further questions or comments? If you'll register your votes now, please. It passes 5-0.